So hello there. Here we are again on the Quantum Creativity Show with Cesarina Trone in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Santari Green, my co-host, all the way streaming live from Burgess Hill, UK. Hi, Santari. Good to
Hello
have you back.
Thank you.
This wonderful Quantum Creativity Show is a wonderful platform for all of us, you, myself, and some amazing co-creators, artists and authors and designers and, literally adventurers of life to come in and share their magic with us. And today for our interview, we have reserved something super special. We always say that, but today it is super special.
Super duper.
Super duper. And you cannot see her on the screen because she's joining us on the phone. But right here on with us live streaming today on Quantum Creativity Show, we want to welcome Jenn or Jennifer Prine. Hi, Jenn. Welcome to Quantum Creativity.
Hi there. Thank you.
And before I let Jenn share a little bit about herself, I want to tell you that I've known her for a few years now. We both live in the same beautiful city in Cincinnati. And I've known her because how could I not know her? She is just like a soul sister. She has this magic in her heart, and she sees life through the lens of that inner magical child. And she is a poet. She's a photojournalist, an amazing one. She is a dreamer, just like some of us here, dreaming new paradigms of life into the world around us. And I want to welcome her as she starts this exploration and this conversation with us about many, many things that you might be tickled and delighted to hear today on the show. So welcome, Jenn.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am tickled to hear more.
I want to hear more.
Jen, perhaps you could tell us something about yourself, your life, your photography, your world. How it is that you make magic, and what is the spirit that is you?
Oh, that's a big question. I've been a photojournalist probably since about 2009, and it's definitely, like all things, just evolved. And I focus mostly on kind of personal brand photography, so meaning like kind of bringing out archetypes that, each of us have that are unique to all of us. And just teaching people that, we're not all the same, and giving each other that space and respect to be ourselves and not expect everyone, we don't need to look in someone else to get validation for who we are. So I think a lot of times, at least here in the States, people tend to be uncomfortable if somebody's different, if they're not comfortable with who they are, if they're not rooted in their own being. So, it's definitely a different way to approach photography, but, and if I stick to talking about branding, it goes over pretty well in the city where P&G is, and I think it's just an important message and helping people to really attract, the right type of things into their own lives through a portrait. So energy is really important to me. And then, with my son is autistic and nonverbal. He's 7, so he definitely speaks the language of energy. He doesn't communicate verbally at all. So that's a little bit about me. What else would you like to know? Yeah, I'm a little bit shy.
No.
I don't like talking about myself. I'd rather talk about you guys.
I was going to say, being a photojournalist, I'd have thought you'd be quite the opposite. You'd be very outgoing and having your own eye on the world.
Normally, we're observers. So the observant type of energy likes to watch. We don't like to. We put it back onto you, so we don't have to be center stage. We trick you. You think we're extroverted. We're really not. Just try making us talk about ourselves. You'll learn quickly.
Okay. So as a photojournalist, what type of stories do you write about? What type of stories do you want to portray?
Well, I'm not a writer. I'm just a photojournalist. So I usually accompany a reporter. And usually the stories I tend to be assigned to, because, they assign me stories I shoot for media. They like to give you stories that they know you're going to be interested in. So, and I'm also the one in the newsroom, and that's the weird artsy one. So they tend to give me anything that's really creative, anything that's conceptual. My undergrad is urban planning, so they give me all the development stories, things like that. So anything that they know that I'm interested in and would like to talk to whoever. I'm usually photograph CEOs, people that are in charge around town. So does that kind of make sense?
Yes. Is there something specific
Okay.
that you look for when you're taking a photograph?
Well, if it's not a brand, like if I don't have a long time to work with the person, for example, a CEO has very limited time. Like they're going to give me 30 minutes on my photo shoot tomorrow, which is nothing, and I have to do video too. I normally am trying to get them just to be comfortable, and I try to talk to them and, build rapport very quickly, and try to get something that looks like they drop their mask, at least for a minute, that looks more authentic and looks like it's really them. Mm-hmm. So I try to get them comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm working individually, then I might talk astrology with somebody, but not during a shoot for like that. I only have 30 minutes,
Are you very good at getting to see what's underneath people's masks?
Yes, yeah. I would say that I'm pretty good at it. To the point where sometimes people are aware, and it makes them uncomfortable that they know that I can see them.
Mm-hmm. And what do you actually find you're engaging with when you get under a person's mask? Well, what is it that you're seeking to achieve then?
I mean, I think that's who they really are, not who they're pretending to be. That's the divine part of them. And so, I actually tend to identify different energies that I feel coming out of them, because I understand astrology really well. And then Carl Jung built his archetypes around astrology. So I, usually can identify what type of energy I'm working with. And, and there's things that I know are my opposites, but they're not always going to be naturally comfortable for me. But then I can then give them the space to just be themselves. So someone who's, for example, an engineer is going to be my opposite. They might have their Mars in Virgo. My Mars is in Pisces, so I'm an artist. So there are times that I'm not always going to get along, but because opposites attract, I have lots of engineer types in my life. So that's kind of usually me. I'm trying to just give people the space to be themselves.
So would you say that you're an energy sensitive, or is it not quite the right term to use?
I don't know. Sorry, let's try to plug my phone in. I would definitely say that I'm probably an empath. Would that be? Mm-hmm. I do a lot of yoga, and I focus on restorative yoga or yin yoga, so I clear out all the noise and pain. It's taken me a long time to heal, but because I don't have a lot of my own pain anymore that I'm carrying around, I'm very present, and I'm able to hear other people. Does that make sense? And I can separate them from myself. Mm-hmm. So I come from more of a place of observation, and because if that makes sense, because I think anybody could achieve that if they were really open.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you, do you see your empathy then as a benefit, as an advantage, or maybe not so?
It now is, but someone like me, it takes a really long time for someone that's as emotional as I am to figure out that I'm receiving in other people and learning how to separate myself from others. Mm-hmm. Because, when you're receiving in sensations, those are other people. Those aren't me, but then confusing that and thinking, that it's, you know, that's me when it's not. You know, that caused a lot of turmoil in my early life.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're much better at being able to sort out the various energies, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there are times maybe, you know, I'll be sitting here and all of a sudden I'll be like flooded with anger, and I'm not angry about anything, so I know I'm not angry, right? So someone is
Hopefully.
probably projecting an anger at me. So, and usually I know, you know, sometimes when I have to set a boundary with a person, you know, that can, you know, that can cause a person to get angry. But boundaries are necessary in life. But yeah, now I can separate kind of myself from other people, and I can just let those things kind of flow through me, and I don't hold on to them.
I think that subject of energy is a fascinating one, because quite often we'll have people on the show talk about their own ways of how they deal with things energetically. And
Yeah.
I always tend to see the best of people myself, or I look for the best of people. And therefore, it's quite easy to turn what might be a negative comment into something which can be actually quite valuable. So I was wondering if you've ever had the opportunity to be able to look at a life experience and decide that you can change what it looks like on the face of it so that it becomes actually something quite different. And I'm thinking here perhaps in terms of your autistic son.
Where that looks negative, meaning people would perceive that having an autistic son that would be challenging. Is that what you mean? And
That's
why
one,
and how
yes,
it's
that's one
not?
possibility. Yes, and to be able to see that it isn't so much a challenge or disadvantage, but actually a blessing in disguise. Looking at it from that perspective.
Well, yeah, a lot of things are like that. Yeah, I mean, he's forced me to get really clear because he was lost from the daycare. They lost him at the park, and he was lost for half a day.
Mm-hmm.
I was picking intuitively up on different energy from the daycare before that, and I brushed it off like a lot of people do. They don't listen to their intuition. But after that experience, that's when I became committed to healing, and also just if I picked up on any vibes or any energy that felt like it wasn't going to be safe for him, then I would cut that out immediately, and I wouldn't offer any excuses because I didn't need to in order to keep him safe, because he's that, you know, amazing, like, and, you know, I need to protect him. So, you know, he's taught me a lot of things, and words are definitely not needed. We don't need words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's never going to tell me that he loves me, but I don't need to hear that he loves me because he demonstrates that so effectively, you know. But and that's what, and for me, like, I think love is just the highest frequency of energy, and that's what he feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
So people get in their minds these ideas of how they think life should look, but that's, you know, sometimes where we go wrong is because we build our lives around other people's ideas, and that's not necessarily going to be what ends up feeling the best for us.
I know that you've written a poem about your son. Perhaps we could just share it and
Sure.
read it on the screen. Okay, there we go. She tried doing it the world's way. She really did. She had the marriage. She had the kids. She had the house. She had the dog. She had a successful career. And for what? To be dead inside? At what cost? Her soul? And why? Because the world told her it was so. But then he came along. He wasn't in alignment with what the world saw as the perfect formula for a happy life. He was different. He never did what was expected. People didn't understand him. And the true beauty of it is, he still doesn't. This is why he is magic. He's just her beautiful, magic, autistic boy. She did grieve at first, but slowly over time, all those egoic formulas and societal paradigms just fell away. And she finally got to see him in all his radiance. And he just came to life right before her eyes. Through it all, she was transformed from the inside out. She set her entire life up in flames. Nothing at all looks the same around her. She's surrounded by magic, beauty, and light. She absolutely went to hell but ascended to the heavens in order to rise back up and be with her son. She also does things her own way now. She forges her own path through the wilderness in search of her truth and her bliss. She is a wild woman, and he is the one that graciously came into her life to show her the way. So that's a beautiful poem, quite a tribute.
Thank you.
I hope I've done justice to it. But I quite especially like that part which said that you went to hell and then ascended into the heavens, because it always like that's what I'm sort of like hinting at.
Yeah, too bad I'm not on video. You could see my phoenix tattoo on my shoulder. Yeah.
Like something in you did get reborn, and you found a way to not to just to cope, but to see it differently and to meet him in a place where he wanted to be met. I mean, that's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, he was kind of checked out before all this, but he just came right out of himself ever since. Yeah, he's really amazing. Actually, he's what I missed most when I was in Jamaica.
I'm so thrilled to say that in my children's yoga training here in Cincinnati, when I do it twice a year, which was spring of 2015, I was so blessed to have Jenn come, and I read this poem just like you read it on the show now, Santa. I read it to the whole group. She was there, and I had tears in my eyes, and everyone, most people and most teachers in the training were having tears in their eyes, because truly to capture what really happened in words is not easy. We all know the writers and poets, but to truly capture the power of what the presence of, a child can do in the world, and what he did for Jenn, and how Jenn is, holding space for her son. I mean, it's incredible. It's so layered. It's not just one way or the other way. It's just you've got the presence of the new brilliance of the children here through her son, holding space for a new world that's emerging. Then you've got the brilliance of the parent, the mother, who knows how to hold space and respond to the call, to the inner call, to the journey, to the evolution that we're all as adults here to undergo with these children. And it was just incredible. And to me, right there, just those words are the masterpiece. There's the art form of life expressed through those words. And of course, as we're interviewing you, Jenn, today, we're looking not just at your autistic nonverbal son, who's incredible, and he's setting new standards for education and for the world and for parenting. And we're looking at life itself being a poem, life itself being a rebirth, a celebration, a falling in love moment by moment. We want to get to the depth of what are we doing all this for? What are we inspiring people to look into a little deeper today in a fast-paced world that seems to kind of spin out of control a little bit? What are we trying to do? To stand here and chat about. So if you could maybe elaborate a little bit. I know you're this beautiful mystic at heart. I know, because I just know, and I don't have to explain why. Can you share maybe a little more how, I know you were that before your son came into the world, but even so now, with him being there, him choosing you, obviously, to be his mother. Share a little bit maybe on that topic, because I know you are a poet, and you could use your poetry to share.
Share with you about, I'm sorry, about what?
So just what it means. What it means to you to to live this, to lead this mystical life, you know, day by day, because it's not just one thing happens and then it's over, you know, it's an unfolding journey as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily see, I mean, you know, I think, I guess if you asked me if I was a mystic, maybe I would agree, but it's not like I wake up and think, oh, I'm a mystic and I have to do this or anything like that. Yeah.
Says the
there's
woman
no,
with the
I
Phoenix
mean,
tattoo.
yeah, right. I mean, after I get back from hell, yeah, I went and got the tattoo. But I was like, I deserve this tattoo. And, but, yeah, but, I mean, for me, it's more, I don't know, yeah, I'm trying to think of what I should and should not say on air, right? I just want to feel good all the time, and you know, that's my only goal, is to feel good, and without any type of aid of getting there, right? Not without, you know, not using any type of drug or alcohol or nothing. I just want to feel high all by myself, and so everything I do is based off of that. Does this feel good? And does this, you know, is this going to make me feel good? And, you know, like, and I think through, like, also, like, if you're, you know, the energy that you're feeling in the present moment, like, you make choices around that. Do I need to set a boundary around it? You know, what do I need to do in order to make myself feel good tomorrow? You know, like, those types of things, because you're creating the future in the present moment. So if you're able to be extremely present, you're able to effectively create your future for down the road, you know, and I see myself as a creator. So I probably say that more than I say that I'm a mystic, even though I agree with you, but I see I'm a creator. I am not a victim. I'm a creator. And, you know, I am creating my entire world around me by every single little choice I make. So even if that, you know, if I don't do yoga to release a certain, you know, maybe I had an emotional situation come up, and if I didn't do enough yoga to release some of that pain, you know, then I'm not gonna feel good when I get out of bed tomorrow, you know. And so those are always choices that I'm making, you know, because I see my physical body to be as crucially important to this as everything else. It really truly is my temple. You know, if I don't feel good physically, I'm not going to feel good emotionally, you know, and I came back from Jamaica with a little sinus infection. So, you know, and it usually affects everything around us, you know. Like, what I've noticed too is that, like, truly, like, with this Phoenix transformation and with this rebirth, my body has been breaking open. So, like, I've been working on healing a hip injury for 2.5 years. And finally, my hip, about 1.5 years into the yoga, my hip finally stabilized. And then everything else started opening up, like, above and below it. And so, it amazes me that, like, there's still things that continue to open more deeply, like my shoulder. And I'm like, well, how deeply can I go into my body, really? And, you know, what else am I going to find in there? What stored pain am I going to find in there? And releasing that. And that has all been very parallel to all of this, is healing my body. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what else you think. My life's probably not as glamorous as you think. I don't know. I get to do a lot of really cool things, I will say that. And you know, I get to choose whatever work I want. I make, even as far as my work goes, like, I only work on things that I'm very passionate about. I don't take on projects that I'm like, I don't do anything where if it comes from, like, a place of that I'm tolerating. I don't work just for money. So, you know, if there's something, someone asks me to do something and I'm not really feeling it, I say no. And, you know, one of my greatest lessons in life has been setting boundaries, not being a people pleaser, and effectively creating the world I want around me, you know, and not feeling bad that if I don't want to shoot something, not feeling bad saying no, you know. And so for me, I've actually had to create more boundaries in order to get my life to look like this, because I was just too open before. letting everything in, shooting everything. That's a good way to burn yourself out as an artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
talking
yeah, I don't know if that sounded mystical, but
well, I'm just looking at your website here, and it talks about you being a dreamer. So maybe we should have a look at your photography website as well.
Yeah.
yeah, feel free to check it out, see what you think.
Okay, there it is. It says her work can best be described as intimate and emotive. All great art moves a person to feel something. She consistently strives to find new ways for her imagery to make a strong and emotive statement. Her strength is her ability to connect with others, even if it is from a distance. So I think you're talking there about when you said just now about how deep into your body can you go, how intimate can you be with yourself. It is also saying about how intimate you can be with other people, I think. Shooting other people from a distance, but even also being able to see the magical beings that they are.
Right. Well, I truly believe love flows down. You know, that's the depth of intimacy. You know, that's a Rumi quote. Love flows down. So it's about like getting into those depths. You know, caring what's going on with people, caring what's down in there. You know, and Jamaica was hard for me because there's a lot of pain. You know, a lot of desperation, a lot of people living in a survival state. So that was a little challenging for me because, you know, I hurt for them. I listened to some of their stories about their prime minister. You know, I wanted to hear kind of what some of the things that they go through, you know. It made me grateful. It made me grateful to get home. But I'd also at the same time, you know, felt really sad that there's a whole country of people over there, you know, that the majority of them feel like that.
So you were talking about being empathic, quite empathic just now. Would you say then that when you go to places like Jamaica, you feel very much more taking up with their other people's situations and their lives, and perhaps you sort of feel that that's how the world is for yourself as well?
No. I mean, I actually feel pretty grateful for what we have here. But, you know, but I don't take it on personally. But like I can see the pain behind their eyes. I can feel like if I met you, I might be able to sense like which chakra is blocked. You know, where you're holding your pain, things like that. I can feel those things. Like a lot of times people like I don't always say anything, you know, but or what I say, you may not be aware that I was picking up the energy, you know. But if I know you really well, I probably won't hide it from you, and then you'll just tell me to get out of your head.
I think I'd probably tell you in from my situation that instead of looking for pain, you'd find brilliance, because you know that's the place where I would most find myself. To talk about the world in the terms of the amazing brilliance and the dreams and of genius and how people are these magical beings, and I'd sort of like would craft that world to be the reality. So you know, I would probably find ways to describe people's reality in terms of that and as a reflection back to themselves. That's why I said if you go to places like Jamaica, my experience would probably be different from your experience. It's not to say I wouldn't see any of the realities of their situation, but I probably would choose to talk about it differently in a way that would be allow people to operate on a different level. And I think that's probably a safe way to say it. And I think that's what I was reading about your son. He allowed you to operate on a different level. He taught you to go to this place, which you call heaven, and to meet him.
Yeah, but I had to go through all the pain first. So I truly am a believer in that you have to go through the darkness and the hell, and you have to face your demons before you can ascend back up. And that part of looking at our pain and healing from it is pivotal. And that, I think, is one of the things that I don't necessarily like about kind of the mystical type of chat rooms I see sometimes, or I'm trying to even think of a way to describe it, is that it can gloss over those things. I'm more of the type that believes that, like, I want to shake you loose and help you to love your darkness and your demons, you know, because what life is about coming home to ourselves. It is about embracing every last bit of who we are and falling completely in love with ourselves, in darkness and all. You know, it's facing those demons. It's really like taking a look at things that, okay, aren't necessarily bad things, but we've been taught that those things are bad. So we live our lives in certain ways that, because we were taught as children not to like certain things about ourselves. So it's coming, you know, into ourselves and becoming whole and learning to love those things, you know, that are our demons, even though they're not really. It's really, it's about going from duality to non-duality.
Yeah. That's it. It's like kicking the demons out and you find that actually there's no demons in there at all.
Yeah, and then you're like, at the end of the day, you're like, wow, that's kind of cool that I'm like this. I'm pretty awesome. Yeah.
I wish
cool
I wish we could see you on video to have a look at that phoenix tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I used to really hate all the Scorpio energy that I had in me. My family's very Scorpio. That's like I'm Taurus, and they're opposite. So I used to hide that I was like this, you know, and I might even have more of it in me than my family does. And, yeah, but I've learned, wow, you know, it's kind of cool. It is what allows me to see that energy. You know, there's a lot of things about it that it can, you know, it can do things, like it got me in a lot of trouble as a child, but it's also like the reason why, you know, I might put on that crazy mask to scare my neighbor. Very Scorpio.
Oh,
so
I see. There's lots of more stories that you can tell.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you don't even want to hear my stories. You probably would be scared of me. You'd be like, I have to let this girl go. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We would probably just fall madly in love with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like an evil genius because I was psychologically tortured. Yeah.
Well, perhaps we should just mention your website.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
It's www.jennprine, that's JENNPRINE.com, where people can find out more about you. They can learn about your photography. They can see the photographic services that you offer and allow them to be madly fallen in love with themselves.
Totally.
Yeah. That's what I want everyone to do. Fall in love with themselves. Yeah.
What a beautiful message for this week, for happy equinox, everyone. Fall equinox coming up here in a day. So fall in love with yourselves. We all say. Jenn says, find a beauty in everything, whether it looks bad or good. It doesn't matter, because in the end you will find the lesson and you will find the depth of what you're looking for, which is, again, that self-love, the appreciation for life. It's been a pleasure, Jenn, to have you with us today. I'm hoping that sometime soon we'll get you on the video as well with this platform we're using for Quantum Creativity Show. And we can see a smile. Of course, we're going to enjoy a smile on the website. And
yeah.
I want to see that phoenix tattoo.
Yeah. I'll have to send you over. There's probably a photo in my profile photo.
Okay,
Yeah.
look forward to it. Well, thanks for being on the show with us. It's been great hearing from you, knowing something about your poetry and the way that you look at life, and being able to just deal with those demons and kick them out.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the world we'd live in if everybody loved themselves. It'd be a pretty cool world.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah. All right. But thank you for having me.
Thank you. And until next time, we want to wish you a wonderful, beautiful, magical week.